This news story was produced by Cogeco North Bay News. To watch the full newscast, tune into channels 12 or 700 live at 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday. Welcome to this Friday edition of Cogeco North Bay News, a truly local television. My name is Clarke Heipel. We are live at 5:30. Well, nothing new from Ontario Premier Kathleen Wynne in terms of funding on Friday. Ontario's Premier made a pit stop in North Bay and she toured the Ontario Northland Refurbishment yard and she made an announcement, but not a funding announcement. We hear more in this story.
Connecting communities is a top priority for us as a government, and that's exactly why we are working to build infrastructure, strong, sustainable infrastructure in every corner of the province.
Friday morning's announcement boasted about the repair of coach cars for the passenger rail service Polar Bear Express. It is a rail line which transports 60,000 passengers per year between Cochrane and Moosonee. Following Ontario Premier Kathleen Wynne's formal remarks, I had the opportunity to ask her a question regarding passenger rail service. Just concerning passenger rail, that's why we're here today. The Northlander made its last trip in September of 2012 and local residents were devastated when that was taken off the track. Is there a plan, a definitive answer, yes or no, is there a plan to bring the Northlander back to connect Southern Ontario to Northern Ontario?
There is no immediate plan to do that. We've been clear about that, but you know, we're working on the coach line, the coach replacement, and you know, that's the commitment that we have made. So the transportation network is critically important. That includes rail, but it also includes road and coach lines. Oh yeah. Oh, do you want to?
I just want to say I think it's very important. I know that Karina would want to say this too. What's important to note is that every community that was served by the Ontario Northlander is now served by the motor coach services, and that's and I think it's quite successful. Karina, I don't know if you want to say anything about it, but that's true. It's true. So.
Karina's saying yes, that's true.
Yes.
In my second question, I asked Premier Wynne about hydro rates.
I've been on a tour, a trip in the north. This is the 7th day, and I've heard lots of great things about what's happening around the province. And one thing I've heard from people is that there are still people who are struggling with energy costs. I understand that. When we came into office, we inherited in 2003 a degraded energy system. We've had to make investments. There's a cost associated with that. You know, we've built more than 10,000 kilometers of line that hadn't been rebuilt, that hadn't been tended to. So we've made those investments, and we acknowledge there's a cost associated with doing that. We've taken the debt retirement charge off people's bills. We've put in place programs like the Northern Ontario Energy Credit. We've put in place the Ontario Energy Support Program, and I've had conversations with folks who haven't necessarily known about that program, for example, and that can help people with their energy costs. The Northern Industrial Energy Rate Program we've made permanent, and I will say with 4 Northern members at the cabinet table with a Minister of Energy now from Sudbury, this is an issue that is very much on our radar.
It is prudent to note that Premier Wynne's announcement on Friday morning featured no new money. This announcement on Friday morning stems from a funding announcement back in November of 2014. 2 years ago this November, $17 million was invested into Ontario Northland. The first of 16 Polar Bear Express railway cars was unveiled on this Friday morning. That was the announcement. Nipissing MPP Vic Fideli was very swift to point out that no new money was announced on Friday.
The absolute only reason the Premier was here at Ontario Northland is to try to paper over and rewrite the history they have with Ontario Northland. Their job here was to either divest it or liquidate it, and when they got caught by the Auditor General, that all changed. It had nothing to do with anything else but trying to make good with the men and women of Ontario Northland.
A much more positive reaction was heard from both Nipissing-Temiskaming MP Anthony Rhoda and North Bay Mayor Al MacDonald.
Very pleased with her words. Secondly, it's the commitment to the ONTC that's critically important for the future of this organization. The fact that she would visit the ONTC shows how important it is to her. And to us, we see tremendous opportunities for job creation in the shops by bringing more work in.
What's the biggest takeaway from today?
You know, what we have here is the first car
first of 16 to be refurbished. That's a major project, 16 in a row. You've got new people being hired. The shop is expanding. We have an asset here that we're taking more and more advantage of. That's great news for North Bay, and that helps the whole riding. So it's a good day for Nipissing-Temiskaming, and it's a great day for North Bay.
As we hear from Ontario Northland President and Chief Executive Officer Karina Moore, Premier Wynne's visit was quite reaffirming.
And I'm absolutely thrilled to have all of you here to mark the completion of the first passenger car for the Polar Bear Express project.
Was there anything new said today?
I think what was really, really important to us is that the Premier stopped here and reiterated publicly her commitment to Ontario Northland. And I believe that there's a real recognition that we are completely aligned with her priorities for the North, and there's a recognition of that. So that's a very good day for us.
Much more on this story, Wynne's visit to the ONTC rail yard during the middle segment of Cogeco North Bay News, as I will chat with Nipissing MPP Vic Fideli. If you are interested in watching Cogeco North Bay News, you can become a subscriber by calling 1-800-267-9000.